So your plan was to become a real estate investor, and instead you became a real estate agent. What the hell were you thinking? Mitch, this is what you did. What were you thinking?
This is what I did, and I think it's a very good conversation because I think a lot of people, it's funny, I talk to a lot of people right now, today, they will ask like, well, I want to get in this game, like, should I go get my license?
I've been asked that for 20 years.
Yeah, like it's a thing. It's for some reason, there's this thing in everyone's brain or a lot of people's brain where it's like, in order to go become an investor, I'll get closer to that by becoming an agent. Now, I don't think that that's a perfect correlation or route to become an investor. I would say that if you want to become an investor, become an investor. Don't go choose a different occupation to become the thing you want to become, right? That's like saying like, I want to become a pilot. Should I become a bus driver?
Okay.
Like, no.
Off air, Mitch,
probably
you
not.
said all real estate agents were losers, which is a crazy take because we work with real estate agents, brokers, but off air before we recorded, you said, Gabe, you should start the episode by just calling all real estate agents losers because they are. And I said, that's a crazy take. I actually think this is an opportunity to educate our real estate agents how to become real estate investors. Look, I've been asked that for 20 years. Hey, I want to invest in real estate. Should I become an agent? And I'm like, I don't know. Do you want to be a real estate agent or do you want to be an investor? Mitch, you took the agent route. I took the investor route.
First off, Gabe's a liar. So that's the first thing I want to say because that didn't happen. I did become a real estate agent because I doesn't matter. So I became a real estate agent because I thought that was like the avenue to go. I believed in that. But again, you want to become a pilot. So why don't you become a bus driver? Are there parallels? Are there things that like becoming an agent will give you that are beneficial to real estate investing? I could argue that because this is the route I took, but I don't think, okay, I think that's fine. But like, I'm saying that it's not needed. In fact, I think you can waste a lot of time, right? Like chasing something else in pursuit of the thing that you want to end at. Like it's not the perfect segue into real estate investing. Now, where it helped me is like, I understood how to sell. I think today when I talk to owners or brokers or whatever, it's there's a little bit of that, right? We got to go sell ourselves with the right solution. I learned transaction, how to manage a transaction. I learned a little bit about negotiations, human psychology. So there's certain things that I learned now, but becoming an agent does not have a monopoly on those skills. So I just don't think it's needed to go become an agent to become an investor. If you want to become an investor, my advice, don't get your license. I think overall it actually hurts you. I used to go negotiate a deal and I had to tell them I was an agent in their state. And because of that, they're like, oh, well, you know, that in other words, it adds more liability and they're looking at me differently. So I don't feel like it's the right route.
The reason I chose not to be an agent, like I thought about this, you know, and I thought this.
You couldn't pass the test, right? I remember you told me you failed the test three times or something.
I never failed the test. I never took the test. I did have a strong history from high school not passing tests, but I never took the test because I don't take stupid tests to get stupid pieces of paper on stupid sides of walls or whatever the hell they give you.
I actually agree with that.
I don't want to spend
even though I did take a lot of tests. Yeah.
I don't want to spend this episode knocking agents because I work with some great agents and they add a lot. The good real estate agents add a lot of value. But what I think is important and why I chose not to be a real estate agent is I wanted to be, before I even owned my first property, I wanted to be a real estate investor. I chose in my mind that I was a real estate investor first. And I knew that networking, I knew that meeting people, I knew that building relationships was really important. And I knew that, as I made those connections, I really wanted to position myself and introduce myself and create this identity around, hey, I'm an investor. I'm a buyer of real estate. I'm an owner of real estate. I plan to, and I do now own investment property. And so I didn't want to be in a position where I was earning a commission, where I was marketing myself to buy or sell someone else's pieces of real estate. I actually wanted to own as much real estate as possible. And so, I could start the conversation with, hey, I'm not an agent. I'm not a broker. I'm actually looking to invest in real estate. And I kind of adopted this identity of an investor before I ever owned my first piece of real estate. And I think that's an important piece of it. Like, some people will become real estate agents, and I think it's almost like a drug when they start earning that commission, right? It's like this adrenaline rush. They sell a property, they earn a commission. It's this big bump in income. And even though real estate agents, there are things that they can learn that do parallel on the investment side, oftentimes it then becomes really hard to then transition to an investor. Now, a lot of real estate agents may pick up over the years 1 or 2, 3 properties, but they're stuck in the cycle. And we did a past episode, 71%, I think it was, 71, 72% of agents last year didn't transact at all, which meant they made no commission. And at the end of the day, I'd rather own the real estate. I'd rather own the real estate than transact the real estate. And I think it's once you become, even if you're a high volume real estate agent, it's going to be hard to leave that to become an investor. And so why not just position yourself as an investor first?
Hey guys, if you like what you're hearing on the 0 to 100 podcast, come join the 0 to 100 Elite Mastermind. We have a very simple goal for you. That's replace your day job, make $120,000 a year plus in cash flow, real estate, and become a millionaire. That's it. If you like that, if that's you, click the link below and we'll see you on the 0 to 100 Elite Mastermind. Well, I think too, though, people, here's my way of thinking, okay? I looked at becoming an agent as this segue into investing because I would get to go talk to buyers and sellers and sort of be in the mix of real estate. I get it. It's sales, it's transactional, it's a different game, but that was my thinking. The other thing is, like, when I think about becoming an investor versus becoming a real estate agent, to me, one had a path, the other one didn't. So to be an investor, to me, had all this mystery around it. I couldn't figure out how to do that. Like, what's the next step? So in other words, when you become a real estate agent, it's like, go take this class, go take this test, go hang your license at a local real estate brokerage, and then take their training courses and then sell real estate. There's a path. There's like a nice sequential path. And I think a lot of us are wired to follow some sort of path in front of us. Commercial real estate or investing in real estate, it's not as clear. Now, we've worked really hard to build that. Our mastermind, our book, we have, right? Like we've laid out a path for people to go become real estate investors, especially through our mastermind, but it's not as like clear on the front end for folks. And it wasn't for me. You think about it, I was young. I was confused. I didn't know where to go. This was a place for me to go land. I knew once I took the test, I'd be able to land somewhere and have like this group around me that would help me. And so that was my thinking. It was limited. I get it. But like,
you just made a good point. You just made a really good point. You got around people that were transacting in real estate, but I bet most of them weren't investors. And this is
very few. And if they were, looking back, they were just buying things to buy things. They did not have a clue what the numbers were. They didn't know what cash flow was. They didn't know none of the stuff we talk about today. They did not know that.
Well, this is also why our mastermind members, like the 0 to 100 mastermind members, are kicking ass, because they're not around people just transacting in real estate. In fact, we have several recovering real estate agents and recovering flippers in our mastermind, but they're getting around people that are doing big deals. They're getting around people that are literally replacing their income with cash flow real estate and quitting their day job. Like, we have people that are growing their net worth by millions of dollars, right? And they're increasing their cash flow by tens of thousands of dollars. Like, I think that's a piece that's so important. When you get around people that are doing a certain thing, it's hard not to adopt their behaviors, their habits, right? And I found that in my own life. I started investing in real estate. It was kind of a solo game. And when I got around other investors that were playing at a higher level than me, it forced me to think better. It forced me to think bigger. It forced me to make bigger moves. And it also got me in circles with people that were doing these types of things, so that like buying a 40-unit mobile home park or buying a triple net commercial deal was just like another fucking Tuesday, versus it's like this far off, mystical thing that was never obtainable, right? And so I think and yes, you can transition from a real estate agent to an investor, but if you're getting around a bunch of real estate agents all the time and you're on this team and you're hanging out, like, that's going to be the conversation. Yeah.
Your thinking changes to them, and I'll go back, another dumb analogy, because I like analogies, but like, if you want to become a really good pickleball player, don't go pick up soccer. And that I think is exact. Now, if you went and played soccer, you could say, well, it helped my pickleball game because it helped my cardio and my hand-eye coordination. And there's these other things that we can all say, okay, great. It helped your pickleball game eventually, whatever that is. But like, choose the sport you're going to play and get around people playing that sport at a high level, and you will become like those people. And if you go out for soccer and you want to be good at pickleball, you're going to waste a lot of fucking time not going and doing the thing you want to do.
I love this. I love this example, Mitch. I'll give you an actual. So I used to compete in bench press. Like I broke a bunch of records, got second in the world. Like
so did I. Yeah, I was third, but yeah.
Just quick little brag, right? But broke a bunch of state records, and I would have people ask like, "Hey, how do I get better at bench press?" You know, and they're trying all these different chest exercises. I'm like,
right.
I would say
like bench press,
and like there's little things you can tweak, right? There's little things you can do. It's like, hey, what are the best? What are the best exercises to improve your bench press? And I would literally just be like, bench press, right? And I think investing is the same
because you're circling it. You're looking for something else to get to the thing when you should just be going after the thing,
which is the whole point of why I chose to be a real estate investor, why it's important to get around other investors that are 1, 2, 10 steps ahead of you. Because you become a real estate agent, you could spend 10 years, 20 years doing that. You join a high-level mastermind of ass kickers that are already doing the thing it is that you want to do, or are on their path, or have become financially free through real estate. Think of how much time you're going to not waste being in a circle with the people that are already doing the thing that you want to do. They're going to say, how do I buy a 10-unit apartment? Hey, Mitch, how do I buy a 50-unit mobile home park? And you're like, you're not going to say, oh, buy a single family home 10 times. You're going to say, go buy a mobile home park. Here's how. Here's who you need to connect with. Here's how you underwrite the deal. And then you just go do it, right?
Well, yeah, I love that. And I mean, you know, when you think about becoming an agent or any other sales gig or a W-2 or whatever, you're working yourself into a job. And by the way, you're working more and more each year because you have these ambitions inside of there, right? You want to make more money. You want to have more transactions. Maybe you build a team, whatever, and you're working more and more. And it takes more and more of you as you get further along in your journey. When you go into real estate investing, long-term cash flow investing, you work yourself out of a job. Every year you get more time to do whatever the hell you want. Maybe the first year you're working really hard because you're trying to learn the game and go make offers and do all these things. But over time, you get your time back versus these other occupations. And I was a real estate broker. Trust me, there's no time. You don't have your weekends. You don't have your nights. Your days are full of transactions and, you know, emails. Like it's the more you do, the better you do, the less time you have. The better you do in real estate investing, the more time you have. And ideally, you have basically all your time back. So it's a fundamentally different game. It's not transactional. It's long-term. You're building equity, you're building wealth, you're building cash flow, you're building freedom versus the realtor game. You're highly taxed. You're running around on Saturdays and Sundays when you should be with your family. You know, it's very transactional. So I just think it's two different games.